All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the broadcast tonight. My name is Matt Baker. I'm going to be your play-by-play announcer, and with me for the first time in the booth is Tyler Hodge. Say hi to the people, Tyler.
How is everybody doing tonight?
Hopefully everybody is joining us, and appreciate you joining us in from St. Paris Graham Schools. If you're joining us from the Clinton-Massie local schools area, we appreciate it. No matter where you're at, we appreciate you checking in. We've got about 15 minutes to game time. And before we get started with the game, we want to touch base about a couple things regarding these two Falcon teams. We're calling it the Battle of the Falcons tonight. Would you agree with that, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, as I was looking up stats today, kind of forgot Graham was called the Falcons, so I had to make sure that I was clear on who I was talking about.
Yeah, so when we say the Falcons did well, we should probably delineate which Falcons is the blue or the black Falcons. So St. Paris Graham coming in with an 0-2 record. They had a tough loss to an Indian Lake team by just 1 point. They also lost by 8 points to Green, and so when you take 2 losses by 9 points total, you got to feel kind of good about where you're starting in your season if you're the coach McCourty.
Yeah, for sure. As I was looking up, at 1 point loss, I believe it was last week to Indian Lake, coming off that big push there in the fourth quarter as it was recorded. You got to feel good about where you're headed right now with this team coming into this week's game versus Clinton-Massie Falcons.
And I talked to him today, and I said, hey, Coach, when you're looking at the opportunities in front of you, how do you get better? And he said, the first thing we need to do is create an identity. He's a first-year coach after having multiple years of experience as a head coach at, I believe, Greenon, and he took a year off, and then he was also a girls coach at Kenton Ridge. But he said, Matt, we're just still finding our identity. We're finding who we are. We're finding if we're a fast break team, what kind of defense are we going to run. He's a motion-based offense. He's a man-to-man, full-court press kind of guy. But he's still finding out who his players are. He had to learn about his players because he was a July hire. And he had to learn about them through just watching video, basically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a late, getting hired in, a month or two before school, trying to learn these new players, I mean, any position or any coaching staff, coming in that late is hard, especially coming into a new school.
And then think about it, his first contest, the first contest that he goes against is against his old school, which is Greenon. Greenon was where he was at as a head coach. He did take a year off, some time with family, and then he had to come out and face his old foe against, and he said, they were charged up wanting to beat the old coach, obviously. That's exciting for them, but he still had really good relationships with a lot of those players. So I took a loss there by 8 points, took a single-point loss. When you look on the Clinton-Massie side, so you've had 3 games at this point with a 1-2 record. The first of those was against Waynesville. It was a loss. It was a tough loss. Waynesville came in being very physical, playing an excellent defense, and turned the ball over early in that first half. And then Clinton-Massie kind of settled down, made a game of it in the second half, came up a little short. They got a win against Claremont Northeastern where they shot unbelievably well, and then they faced Western Brown.
Yeah. Western Brown, coming off a good year in football, but also having those players as, Drew Novak, I believe his name, and the top 3 scorers coming back. I mean, that team is just probably maybe top the league this year in this field.
Yeah, and Fry, their best shooter, actually had a sling on. Oh, so they're going to be better. They're going to be better than what we saw on this past Friday. So Clinton-Massie took a loss there. It's not been any blowout losses. It's definitely been close by both Waynesville and Western Brown standards. But the Claremont Northeastern win was a tough game. It was a game that went down to pretty much the final just a couple minutes or so, and they were able to get a win out of that with some clutch defense there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge to come off that win, especially a hard-fought one. You learn a lot about your team when it's a hard-fought win like that. Especially this early in the year, 3 games in. It's good to have those hard-fought wins where you can see where your team digs deep in those late quarters. So.
Yeah, a little adversity to start the year is never a bad thing. So just to let our viewers and those listening know a little bit about you, Tyler, and where you're coming from and your experience. So you had the joy of playing, and would we call it a joy?
Yeah, it was a joy.
It was a joy. Okay, the joy of playing for Mike Noska. So Tyler's a Wilmington grad, and please, Clinton-Massie folk, don't hold that against him. But Wilmington grad, and had the pleasure of playing for Coach Noska. Tell us a little bit about Coach Noska's theory of basketball prowess, if you will.
He came in when I was a 7th grader, and you heard all the stories about him. But once you got to high school, he was a hard coach. He knew what he was talking about. He made you run, but did I agree with everything? But no, but he made me a better basketball player for it. He knew his basketball knowledge. He was a great coach. he pushed us to the limits. I mean, he took Wilmington and put them on the map as far as basketball for those years from, I believe it was, what was that, 05 to, just a few years ago. I mean, he put Wilmington on the map as far as basketball.
And what would you say, taken away from him, was probably his best skill set? What did you either learn the most about, or, what did he do better than maybe any other coach you've had in the past?
His defense, the way he coached defense at Wilmington, is that, man-on-man help side defense, but I mean, the way he adjusted to the game as far as going on the flow with things was impressive. He was able to change it up, but his defense, people knew when you played Wilmington through those years, defense was the key. Defense is going to come after you. They were going to rebound, and we were going to get the ball at net and go. And that went from varsity down to freshman, even junior high level. I mean, that's what the culture was there in Wilmington for so long.
Tenacious D, would you say?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what we did. All of our drills at practice were of all ground defense and offense second. We crafted that defense down to where it just fed our offense.
He truly believed that defense turned into offense.
Oh yeah. I mean, you get the turnovers, you get the steals. Even if they score, you get the basket out of the net and go. Go. He wanted us up and down the court as fast as possible, and you see teams doing that now. Coach Noska is a great coach. Wilmington, wish him nothing but the best down at St. X. He's doing great down there. Haven't looked into him too much this year, but probably pretty good things going on down there.
Yeah, he's doing a great job at St. X. We do wish him all the best. So, talking a little bit more about SBAC, you said that Western Brown could be at the top of that list. We've got Goshen as well. You've got New Richmond. New Richmond actually leading the league right now just by the amount of games that they played. New Richmond's a pretty solid program, even though they have changed coach recently. We do, look forward to playing them, and they're going to be a tough out. We know that Western Brown, again, does a great job. Goshen for the last couple of years has been down, but coming back up. I believe they're going to be real young, starting 3 freshmen this year, if I'm not mistaken. So the future looks bright for them. But a lot going on right now in the SBAC, and Clinton-Massie wants to get into that mix. When I talked to Coach Graves and asked him what is it, and he's going to be young tonight. He's probably going to start, I would guess, 1 senior, 3 juniors, and a sophomore, if I were to guess, although I did see Abden Fawcett in a sweatsuit or in a travel suit, so he may not be on the court tonight. We'll see what that adds up to be here in just a second. As you can see, Graham warming back up here to get this game started in about 8 minutes. We appreciate you joining us. Clinton-Massie Local Schools. If you want to tell a friend to join them, go to YouTube and search Clinton-Massie Local Schools. We'll be taking a break here in just a second. We're going to actually pause for just a moment and verify a little bit of a technology glitch we got going on. We'll check our camera feed, and then we'll be back on the air in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that break in the action there, but hopefully we're going to be on track here from this point. Touch base with us again, right before we get going here, just talk a little more about Clinton-Massie and you know what to expect out of them. I think we talked a little bit about keys to the game before we went on the broadcast. Tyler, why don't you share some thoughts when it comes to Graham? What do you see as keys to the game?
You know, Graham, they're looking as a coach. You know, we talked to the coach earlier. He was worried about being able to match Massey's physicality. You know, being able to come out strong, being physical, not drawing a lot of fouls, but just playing tough. He's really honing on to be able to match that physicality. Clinton Massie was the top thing for him tonight. And then also rebounding, crashing the boards. You know, is a huge. That's another thing that doesn't get taught a lot. You know, he wants to really focus on crashing those boards, rebounding, boxing out, getting those turnovers, and getting those possessions back. You know, when you allow second chance points, second chance opportunities, that's when you get down real quick. So those are the keys to the game for Graham and the coach. What he really honed in. So,
and what do you think about from Massie?
Massie, and Coach Graves is talking about a solid shooting night tonight. Really taking the shots that we need to take. Not taking unnecessary shots, being smart, moving the ball around. Yeah, you're open to take a shot, but not throwing up any unnecessary threes, any kind of shot that we need to do. So. And then also limiting the turnovers. We've looked at some stats over the past 2 weeks. I believe last week they turned the ball over 19 times. Turnovers in any sport are killers. We got to take care of the ball tonight. You got to make sure on your passes, calling out names when you pass it to them, and back to the basic fundamentals of basketball, and just making sure that those are there and that we're being smart with the ball.
Yeah, a turnover can be a 4 or 5 point swing depending on what happens. You lose the chance of 2 or 3, and then they get 2 or 3 on the other end. So limiting turnovers, making sure that everybody can stay where they need to be at the right time. That's going to be extremely important. So as we get with 3:42 left, you're going to see a couple things tonight. We're going to try to give you an underneath camera on this closest basket right now where Graham is warming up. You'll see that feed here at times. You're also going to see a feed here of us in the broadcast booth, and then we're also going to keep that score up there whenever we get from the side-to-side view. It is an automated camera, so those of you that are familiar with the Huddle camera system, it follows the ball using artificial intelligence. Sometimes it does get a little bit behind and isn't able to make that fast transition when there's a turnover and go the other way. That's not a slow cameraman or a person not paying attention. It's just that the software's got to catch up with it a little bit. So make sure we keep those in line for you. So appreciate you joining us. Again, we've already got about 25 people on. We had asked you to send this to anybody else that's interested. Clinton-Massie Local Schools is what you'll search on YouTube. We got about 2:45 left. We'll go through our Star Spangled Banner here in just a second, and also we'll change and get ready to bring this exciting game to you. So Clinton-Massie Local Schools looking to go even at 2-2. Where we have the Falcons of Graham trying to get a win on the board here for the first time in 2022-23 season. I did look back just a little bit at their kind of the tradition there. Their last championship, their last conference championship was in 12-13, the 12-13 season. So it's been a little while since they raised that banner. And Coach McCourty is excited about getting his system put in place. In fact, he mentioned that quite a few times, that it's not necessarily a system where there's a certain offense, certain defense, or something that's going to be done a little different or out of the ordinary, but it's believing in the culture, believing in the idea that we're going to get better, whether it's 1% at a time, every single time we practice, every game that we have, making sure we're instilling a high IQ offense for the players that he has. He mentioned that his players are very high IQ, and when you have basketball IQ, and I'll ask you about this, Tyler, and see what you think of this. So you were a football guy that also played basketball. We have a lot of football guys that also play basketball. How different is it to have a guy that is 100% committed to just playing basketball where football is not on their mind?
With that comes its challenges. For me, played football, played basketball. It's a fine line you got to walk, and be able to, hone in on that craft and be able to focus on one sport or the other and focus at the same time, nowadays they have summer basketball, and during the summer you got football. So these students and these athletes are having to take their time and really be proactive with it and have that basketball IQ to where they know where to be even before they're even here. I mean, that's a lot of it. They always say basketball IQ is one of the most important things when it comes to basketball.
We're going to take just a pause. We're going to pause for just a moment here and have our Star Spangled Banner. We'll be back on in just a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining us as we come back to our broadcast. We're going to talk a little bit about starting lineups, and you're going to hear the Clinton-Massie come across here in just a second. It looks like we're going to have Sawyer Conrad, a junior. It's actually a gentleman that transferred back here, spent some time at Seven Hills last year, and then came back to Clinton-Massie. Glad to have him back here. Also, looks like Ryan Dillon's going to be a starter for the Massey Falcons as well. You're also going to see Jerry Trout, Cale Willis, I believe, and then Gabe Muterspaw. So let's see, Cale Wilson, Muterspaw, Conrad, Dillon, and Trout are going to be your starters. And again, I've seen Abden Fawcett already in the suit, so I think we're not going to see him or Keegan Lamb, who's dealing with an injury right now. He's actually got a shoulder that's probably going to take him out the remainder of the season. We wish nothing but luck for him. Clinton-Massie are going to have Wilson jump, the sophomore. It's been kind of fun to watch so far. A high energy guy. He's able to get the ball to Dillon. Dillon running point here, drives the inside to Gabe Muterspaw. Muterspaw back out to Dillon at the top of the key. Looks like they come out in a 2-3 zone. Try to get it inside to Wilson. Wilson takes the shot, falls short, and the ball goes back to the Graham Falcons. So again, we'll have to say Graham Falcons, Massie Falcons, Blue Falcons, Black Falcons. We appreciate you joining us here at Clinton-Massie Local Schools. Inside the ball goes to number 1. It looks like he's going to pick up a quick foul. Number 1 for them is Ben Sells, a senior, actually their leading scorer right now. So talk a little bit about what you see as far as matchups in height and size.
Height and size looks like we match up fairly well. Number 32 down there for Graham. I believe his name is, did you get 32?
Jack Duell.
Jack Duell, yes.
Yeah.
He's a bigger boy, probably going to be down the post a lot. So I like our size. Our guards are matching up pretty well, height-wise and size-wise. We'll see what we got as speed, but like what I see so far.
And apologize, Graham Faithful, if we happen to butcher somebody's name. Believe me, it's not on purpose. So number 1, that's Sells with the shot. He puts one in and the second as well. So it's going to be a 2-0 lead for Graham as Muterspaw gets ready, does a triple threat, drives to the hoop, tries to kick it outside, but it goes as a turnover to Graham. So you're starting to see that one turnover. Hopefully that's very few for the rest of the game. The ball gets deflected just slightly up from Muterspaw to Wilson. Wilson stops. Gets it back outside to Muterspaw to Dillon. It looks like we're going to call a foul on the floor. Little pushing and shoving underneath, which is going to end up with, looks like number 32. You just mentioned that's, we're going to call him Duell. And by the way, if you want to check in with where you're listening from, 937-303-8069. Again, 937-303-8069. We'd love for you to check in. Maybe you want to send a shout out to somebody that's listening. Let them know where you're listening from. We'd appreciate that. And if we come up with something, what we usually do during the broadcast, a little question of the game at some point, maybe Tyler and I can kick some of that around. And there's a shot by Dillon and a 3, which is going to give Massie the early lead, 3-2.
Yeah, Dillon there taking a good shot, wide open.
I don't think anybody on this team is going to be afraid to take an open shot. I think they all have the gumption and the fortitude to want to try to take that open look if they have it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sells with the ball. He drives. Looks like there's going to be a blocking foul call. 2 shots. They're going to put somebody on the line here, which is going to be Sells. Looks like they're going to give that foul to number 11. That's Wilson. So that's 2 fouls for Clinton-Massie so far. A 3-2 lead is what Massie has with 6:29 left in your first quarter. Thank you for joining us. Those that want to shout out somebody, 937-303-8069. That Sells with the first miss after going 2 for 2 on his first set. Looks like a decent crowd has shown up for the student section for Clinton-Massie. A long drive for the Falcons of Graham, a little over an hour when I talked to the coach. I do want to thank Coach McCourty for joining me this afternoon on a great phone call, about a half an hour of his time when he's trying to prepare for a game. And they had a 2-hour fog delay this morning. How about that?
Yeah, it was foggy this morning for sure.
Gabe Muterspaw with the ball and the rebound. He gets it out to Dillon. Dillon stops, tries to get inside, doesn't like what he sees, gets it over to Jerry Trout. Trout inside, but the ball's knocked away by number 2. That's Hollingsworth. Quick hands by Hollingsworth.
Yeah, you got to get those bounce passes in there in that 2-3 zone especially. Those hands are out.
Bounce pass, a lost art in basketball. There's a bounce pass from number 4. That's McGuire. A drive by Graham, back out to number 4, McGuire. He shoots in and out. Sonner Conrad with the rebound out to Muterspaw. They're going to try to push it, but another turnover potentially, but the ball goes out of bounds. Quick hands again by Ford. So Hollingsworth and Ford show their ninja skills early in this game.
Oh yeah, they're quick at it. I mean, they're after that ball. They're hungry for it tonight.
Looks like they're back in that 2-3 zone. Gabe Muterspaw playing a 2-guard in front. Dillon gets deflected. They're going to call that off the ball, and the ball is given from Sells back to McGuire. McGuire across the timeline to the left side of the court. Clinton-Massie playing a man-to-man defense, switches. He tries to go underneath, cups the ball, and shoots and scores from the right side, and there's going to be a quick timeout by Clinton-Massie. Coach Graves doesn't like what he's seeing so far, whether it's the offensive prowess of Clinton-Massie or the defense is causing a little trouble for Graham. I think Coach Graves is going to give him a little something. What do you think, Tyler?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Coach Graves, he wants this one back. I mean, he's seen his team out there. Graham's coming out hot. They're coming out physical. They're trying to match that physicality with Clinton-Massie, and they're doing it. Massie's, man, they got to box out. They got to talk on defense. They're switching screens, and they got to come together today in this timeout here. I think that's what Coach Graves wanted, to give them a break in that action.
Seems like they were a little slow on those switches. Hey, we have our first shout out. How about Spencer from Graham? Would like to send a shout out to Graham cheer coach Andy Mitchell, scoring some early points there. That's his wife. So, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
Get
wrong
you a
with that
couple
at
points there. And I hear from, she's a wonderful coach, I'm sure, doing an absolute great job there for Graham. So, 3, Dillon with the ball at the top of the key. Back to Mutersball. Mutersball gets the ball, tries to get inside to Sawyer Conrad. Conrad turns, twists. He puts a nice floater up. It's in and out of the rim. He can't get the rebound. The ball goes back to Graham. I'd say that's about 4 defensive rebounds so far for Graham.
Oh, yeah, Graham's crashing those boards hard. Like I said, they're matching that physicality of Clinton-Massie, and they're coming out really smooth today.
Looks like another foul, a pushing foul. That's going to go on Conrad. That's the 3rd for Clinton-Massie. So whether that's not moving feet or maybe ticky-tack foul calls, either way, it's going to be 3 for Massey and just the 1 for Graham.
Yeah, Massey's, they're not jumping to the ball real quick. They're not beating them to the pass. I think that's what that was there. But we'll see how it goes.
It'll be interesting to see how deep the Graham goes. I wasn't able to share with the coach how deep he goes, but we'll see as they start to get some substitutes going here probably within the 2nd and 3rd quarter. Dillon trying to drive all the way, kind of uses his body to protect an off-balance shot, and they're going to call another foul. White 3, that's on Dillon. So everybody on the court, it looks like, other than maybe Fiji, has 1 foul so far. So it looks like Connor Stoltz is going to come into the game, picking up some early fouls with 4:42 left in the first quarter. 4-3. The lead is by the Graham Falcons. And this battle of the Falcons here at Clinton-Massie Local Schools at Brian P. Mudd Court. Appreciate everybody joining us this evening. Appreciate Tyler, our color man, coming on late in the broadcast. We appreciate you finding time to help us out, Tyler.
Yeah, of course. When the opportunity came up, I was going to jump all over it. Great opportunity.
Sells turns the ball over. I'm sorry, that's Hollingsworth turns the ball over, but Fiji turns the ball right back to him, who Sells is able to recover that ball. Coach McCourty saying, hey, calm down just a little bit. Let's get into our offense. It looks like they're running a 5 out here. They are a nice back cut by 5. That is Ford. He does miss as he puts it up with his right hand, but a nice cut. They found the open man. Stoles looks like he was going to go for the shot. He was able to fake and drive in. That's a 2-point score. 5-4 now the lead for Clinton-Massie left in the first quarter.
Yeah, Stoltz there with a nice pump fake, head movement, got to the rim. Put it up. That's a key to the game today.
You talked about it before. It comes down to fundamentals. You still got to do the things, the old-fashioned things well, and that was a nice job by Stoltz and a good job there driving the baseline, coming back out to McGuire. McGuire to number 12. 12 is Ryman. Ryman checked into the game for the Graham Falcons. Fiji brings the ball up the court. He gets it over to Stoles. Stoles to Mutersball. Mutersball is kind of deep into that corner. He gets the ball up to Trout. Trout stops, drives, floats in and drops it down. So it looked like it was going to come off the back of the rim, but was able to drop down into the cylinder for a 7-4 lead by Clinton-Massie. This time a little pressure put on by Gabe Mutersball.
Yeah, Coach Graves trying to get that pressure up here for half court, trying to slow him down coming up the court, which is what I believe he probably was talking about in the timeout, slowing Graham down a little bit.
Mutersball with quick hands pushes the ball out of bounds. Hollingsworth gets set in his offense. Mutersball goes to switch, gets back onto Hollingsworth. The ball in Sells' hands. Trout pushes him towards the sideline. Up, and the rebound by Fiji. Fiji drives the ball up the court, crosses the timeline to Trout. They're all over Trout. They do know and recognize that he's the leading scorer for Clinton-Massie. As Coach said, he can get hot. McCourty said he recognizes he can get hot, made 5 threes the other day, so they're going to keep an eye on him. Fiji, the stop and the pop, falls off the back of the rim.
Yeah, Fiji taking it to the rim on that 2-3 zone. You got to attack the middle of that zone.
Stoles out in the perimeter. Cutting through is McGuire. McGuire on the block. Wow. That seems like a very quick foul there. So they're not letting them play very much right now, to be honest with you.
No, the rest of us have been listening to our keys to the game. Not a lot of physicality going on. Well, not that the players aren't, the rest just aren't allowing it.
Yeah, so underneath you'll see coming into the game is Owen Trigg. Now, Coach McCourty did make a statement about number 23. He said, the game seems to change a little bit when number 23 comes into the game because he is very, very physical.
Oh, yeah. when you get a player like Owen Trick in the lineup and on the court, momentum swing for sure. Looks like we got a foul on Graham here.
Hollingsworth is going to pick up a foul there, team second. So 5-2 is your foul margin. Owen Trick gets the ball from Muterspaw. Muterspaw bringing the ball over. Looks like Connor Stoltz drive the floater, and a nice floater. Oh, but it's going to be called. They're calling the basket off, and they're going to call him for a charge. So that's a second foul for Connor Stoltz, I believe. That's going to give him 2 in the first quarter with 1:59 left.
Yeah, good drive by Stoltz. I think it was a little bit of a delayed call, but the ref seen what he had to see, and but like what I seen from Massie tackling the rim.
Let me make a correction there. That is just well, they're actually making a change on the board. We'll see if that's 2 fouls or 1 against Connor. So just a second there with that stat. Number 1, Sells with the ball. He's out on the perimeter with Trick. It's going to be another foul called. 23, that one's on Owen Trick. So, and I think Coach Graves is telling his players, guys, we got to move our feet, we got to use our hands. And Ryan Dillon's going to check into the game, and he's going to take out Connor Stoltz. Yeah, so it looks like Stoltz is going to take a rest there. You get Dillon back into the game, Jerry Trout as well, Miles Thiegy, Owen Trick, and then Gabe Muterspaw is the lineup right now for the Falcons. Sells, who's been at the free throw line now. This will be shot number 5. He puts that one down.
Well, he's shooting it pretty well from the free throw line. I believe his average is pretty high for this time of year.
Yeah, 3 to 5 is what he's done so far tonight. He'll go 3 for 6, so he's right at 50%. So Trout bringing the ball up the court, crosses the timeline, little shake, little bake. Dillon gets the ball over to Muterspaw, and open Thiegy underneath. This time Trick is the one that finishes at the rim. 2 points for Trick. 9-5 is your lead for the Clinton-Massie Falcons.
Yeah, Graham switched that man-to-man defense. Trick found the open spot there in the middle and flashed it and hit him and turned around a jump shot.
McGuire turning the ball over to Ryman. Ryman almost loses it, and PG is able to turn that ball over. Up and in is a score, so off of the turnover is 2 points. 11-5 is now your score. Fiji with the score, and this time it's going to be McCourty who calls the quick timeout. So as we're going to that timeout, we want to touch base with a not necessarily a sponsor, but something we're trying a little bit different here at Clinton-Massie Local Schools. We're going to promote student-owned businesses. So student-owned businesses mean we're going to make sure people know what student offers that are done, entrepreneurship that's done here at Clinton-Massie Local Schools. You'll see on your screen now, Dice Details. It is a junior hire. Elijah Dice is a nice young man. He's done work for different teachers. He's done work for community members. If you'd like to know more about student-owned businesses, go to cmfalcons.org. Underneath the community tab, there is a link there for student-owned businesses. Again, this first one that we're giving you is Dice Details. It's a detail shop, interior and exterior detailing. He does a great job. We've had a lot of experience with Elijah, and we appreciate those that want to check out his business there. So Clinton-Massie coming back from the timeout. It looks like they're going to go into a full court press this time. So Thiegy is at the top of that press. Muterspaw looking for the trap with Thiegy. Ball's over to McGuire. He does a nice fake. I love that fake pass to get the guy in the air. And then he drops it to number 10. On the ground is Muterspaw. They're going to call it a jump ball, but nice quick hands by Muterspaw. Number 10 checking into the game is Josh Still, a senior for the Graham Falcons. So
yeah, Coach Grace switching up to the full court pressure. I think he's trying to keep building on this momentum. I mean, up 11-5 with 50 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Trying to build on that lead.
He also does a good job mopping up the sweat, so he's Mr. Versatility. Yeah, nice job. Coach Graves, do everything kind of man. Number 32, Jack Duell, calls back into the game. And again, if you want to do a quick shout out, 937-303-8069. Sells with a nice fake. He goes up. It's going to be blocked by a combination of Thiegy and Trick. Thiegy's going to get the ball to Trick underneath. He twists, he turns, he throws it up. The foul's going to be called. I believe that's going to be on 32. That's his second. And that's going to be a 2-shot foul.
Yeah. Owen Trick hitting him with the what I call the Ben Wallace move, the down step back, drop step into the middle of the lane. Got that arm around there and got him behind him.
using his body and his size to his advantage. Owen Trick has done a good job bringing in a little bit of power, averaging almost 3 points a game, a couple rebounds. And his field goal percentage is 33%, so he knows kind of when to take a shot and when not to take the ones that are close. He's going to miss that first free throw. He'll have a second one upcoming here. 39.7 seconds left. 11-5 is your score. We appreciate you joining us here on a Tuesday night at Brian P. Mudd Court at Clinton-Massie Local Schools. That one's also a miss, and the rebound by Hollingsworth. He's going to bring the ball up the court from the left side over to the right side, crossing the timeline to McGuire. McGuire back to Hollingsworth. Gabe Muterspaw is trying to put pressure on him. Dillon on McGuire to Hollingsworth to number 10, who just came into the game. That's Josh Still. Hollingsworth dribbles in, doesn't like what he sees. Back out to Ben Still. I believe that is number 1. Ben Sells. We'll get the names right here. Hollingsworth with a quick three-pointer. It's going to fall in short, out of bounds, and it's going to stay here with Graham.
Yeah, I think that went off Dillon's foot there at the very end. Good defense by Massie, trying to keep that shot in front of him. Graham came up short with that.
It looked like it looked like a zone concept there. It wasn't really a box and one, or it wasn't even a 2-3. Owen Trick with his hands up, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, Miles Deasy coming across with the block, redeeming himself there, coming up off and getting that shot out.
Again, Trick using his body to his advantage, and he tried to drive. Sells tried to drive into him, didn't go so well for him. Quick shot, and it's going to be good. They're going to count that. So last second three makes it 11-3, and there's only a 3-point lead for the Clinton-Massie Falcons, so that's going to change things up just a little bit. So in this first quarter, what did you see, and what do you think is going to happen here from moving into the second?
I think it's going to come down to, they're both playing physical. As we see, we got 11 fouls in the first quarter. Now I'm not saying it's all being physical. The refs see what they got to see. But Massie is trying to get up and down the court quick, go. And Graham, I think, is more of a, they want to settle into their offense, let them move the ball around, get Massie to miss a lane here or there and get him with those back cuts. So it's going to be an interesting three more quarters to see what we got going on here. So maybe Massie can play. Be smarter on the fouls this quarter. You got a lot of guys. I don't know how deep we are on our bench, how deep we will go, but we got to be smart with that.
Yeah, you'll bring in Zimmerman at some point. You've still got Stoles. Wilson's on the bench right now, who started the game. You've got Leahy that can come in and give you minutes. I know Conrad just checked back into the game. So, honestly, you're a solid 9 deep on the Clinton-Massie bench, and then Abden Fawcett, if he was healthy, could give you a 10th guy. So they're definitely deep. It's one where if you want to push some pressure and try to get some legs burning for the other team, you've got enough horses in the stable that you can bring a couple guys out and keep doing that. So, again, those that want to check in, 937-303-8069 if you're Clinton-Massie, if you're Graham. If you're a Falcon fan, either way, you should want to check in.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So Clinton-Massie Falcon fans, if you're a Graham Falcon fan, 937-303-8069. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know what's going on there. And if you want to send a shout-out to somebody, feel free. We'll be glad to send that to you. So it looks like
a little discussion to see who's got the ball here.
So there's a 3-point made right as the first quarter expired. The ref is checking with the scorer. And we'll try to get you some stats at halftime. We'll try to get some information from the scorer's table. So it looks like there's going to be a technical foul assessed against Graham. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was a substitution infraction. I believe it was something at the scorer's table because the ref went over to the scorer and asked for a couple things. Jerry Trout with the first one, that's a make. So it's going to end up with 2 shots, both by Trout, and then the ball's going to be in the hands of the Clinton-Massie Falcons. He misses the second one, so it's 12-8 is your score going as the start of the second quarter here. 8 minutes will be the quarter start. 12-8 is your score. Your leading scorer is number 3. That's Dillon. He shot a 3 early on. Also number 12, Trout, has 3 points. It's all number 1 for the most part for the Graham Falcons. That's Sells. Their leading scorer already has 6 points in the first quarter. So Clinton-Massie with the ball to Muterspaw. The far pass to Trout. He looks like he's going to drive. He stops, turns, rotates, gets the ball back to Muterspaw at the very top of the key. to Dillon. Dillon looks for Jerry Trout. He's going to shoot that, a quick trigger, and that's a three-point that's good. Looks like we got another quick conversation at the scorer's table. Since it's a dead ball, they're going to get a quick substitution in, does Graham. Clinton-Massie did make that shot, so it's 15-8 at this point.
Yeah, Jerry Trout setting up there in the corner. Like Coach said, when he gets going, let's see if we can keep that rolling.
And he shot that quick. That was a quick trigger. He grabbed and shot and got it out of his hands quickly. A little Steph Curry action there. So full court pressure applied by Clinton-Massie. Gabe Muterspaw almost steals the ball. It's into Sells' hands. Sells off to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth gets the ball back up to number 3. That's Ward checking into the game for the first time. The turnover by the Falcons. The quick pass by Muterspaw, but unfortunately Fiji goes up and over the side of the rim.
Yeah, passes a little bit behind him, but good vision on Muterspaw looking at for Fiji there coming down the side.
Muterspaw's a motor guy. He's always going to have his motor cranked at 5th gear. So Sells with the ball, the leading scorer for the Falcons. The shot by, it's partially blocked. That was by Ward. Rebounded by Clinton-Massie. Sawyer Conrad over to Dillon. Dillon to Muterspaw. Muterspaw looks like he's going to shoot. Brings the ball back out. Back in the 2-3 goes the Graham Falcons, and that's a turnover by Muterspaw right into the hands of the Graham Falcons, but then the Falcons give it back to the Falcons.
Yeah, Dillon coming up with it there.
Sawyer Conrad stop, pop off the side of the rim. Just needed a little more elevation. He's taken a couple tough shots with some people in his face.
Yeah, pump fake, get him in the air. He can get that dribble down there. I mean, that's back to those fundamentals of that 2-3 zone, trying to beat that 2-3 zone.
Looks like a little 2-3 zone put on by Clinton-Massie. That's an air ball by number 5. That's Aiden Ford. It goes over the backside of the rim. Trout goes and drives this one. Drives hard and gets the block foul.
Yeah, taking it down on the left side. He got his defender off his feet.
Foul's going to go against number 12. That's Nathan Ryman, the senior forward. They're very senior heavy. Sells is a senior. Hollingsworth a senior. McGuire's a senior. Still is a senior. Ryman's a senior. Duell is a senior. So they've got a lot of experience. And he said those 3 seniors at the top, Sells, Hollingworth, and McGuire, were all players for him, or players for this team last year.
Yeah, he had a lot of returning when he come into this team. Very experienced team as well.
Checking into the game for the Falcons is Matt Zimmerman. Looks like Wilson's also going to check in here in just a moment for Clinton-Massie. In that 2-3 zone, Conrad in the middle, Zimmerman on a wing, on a side, I should say. Trout on a side, Muterspaw on a wing, Dillon on a wing. Hollingsworth tries to find some space. He gets the ball back out to McGuire. McGuire to Sells. To Hollingsworth again. Far pass over to Ford. No, I'm sorry, to Ward. Sells finishes that one up after the miss by Ryman.
Yeah, Massey went with that guy cutting across the middle of the zone and left the backside wide open.
So after staying quiet for about 3 minutes, they break the plane of the cylinder. 16-10 is your score. Conrad gets the ball at the baseline. Gets ready to drive, but kicks it back out to Dillon. Dillon spins the ball to Muterspaw. Muterspaw back out to Trout. Looking for Muterspaw underneath. Trout behind the back. Gets it to Zimmerman. Zimmerman drops it to Trout. Floater. In and out. Rebound by Graham.
Yeah, Trout trying to teardrop there in the middle. Just rimmed out.
Wilson went waiting to check into the game for Clinton-Massie. Ward almost getting pushed out of bounds. McGuire with a quick step. The shot in and finishes down the rim. Muterspaw and Sells get into it just a little bit underneath, but they're able to quickly get that under control. The sophomore Wilson checks in for Trout. He'll take the ball out underneath this close basket. He's going to get it to Dillon, number 3 for Clinton-Massie. Looks like more of a man look here, or they're going to stay in the zone.
Looks like Graham switched up to the man. I think they've been doing that halfway through the quarters. They've been switching it up.
Wilson to Zimmerman. He loses it on the way up, though. Sells. Back to Sells. To Ford. They're going to call a blocking foul against Zimmerman. That's number 21 for Massie. That's going to be his first foul. That'll be the 8th one of this half.
Yeah, Zimmerman there. Cut him off well, but used that baseline as another defender. But the key is for that is to get there before that guy does. And Zimmerman just didn't get there in time and forced him out of bounds.
When you trail, you get called for a foul. When you're in front, you might get charged, or they might get them for a charge. 16-12 is your score. The first one of the 1-and-1 by Ford is good. When you're 1-and-1 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter, that's not a good place you want to be.
No, not at all. Massey's got to be smart with their fouls this time.
Ford puts them both in, so Owen Trick checks back into the game for Matt Zimmerman. So when Zimmerman is in versus when Trick's in, are you running a little bit different offense? Do you want the ball to go through Trick? Do you want the ball to get out of the perimeter a little bit quicker, or do you want to just get shots up and let Trick try to get your rebounds?
I mean, what we've seen from Trick, the last few minutes he's been playing, and once he gets the ball down in here, he draws that contact very well and gets those players and, calls fouls.
Wilson with a great pass to Trick underneath. Wilson's got a good eye I've seen already in the first few games. He can find the open mans. That's a sophomore. Wilson with a assist to Owen Trick. Owen Trick, again, using his body to his advantage. McGuire gets the ball somewhat at the block, kicks the ball back out. This time he's going to shoot a three off the front of the rim. It's going to be a foul the other way against number 3. That's Ward for the Graham Falcons.
One thing I've noticed about Massey, they got a lot of guys crashing the boards, which is good. Right there you see 3 of them. 3 of them crashing the boards, trying to get those rebounds, keeping Graham away from them second opportunity possessions that they can get.
We appreciate the 50 of you that have joined us for this Tuesday night game. If you still got some time, tell a friend that we can catch the second half here in just a moment. With 3:03 left, we'll have a halftime break, and we'll come back with some second half action. Looking forward to this Battle of the Falcons. 18-14 is your score. Close game the entire time so far. Hit 3 at the very last second, and McGuire with a nice drive, but he is blocked by Wilson. Again, that motor keeps going for Kale Wilson. Nice job by the sophomore.
Oh, yeah, he's seen it. Came over on the help side defense. He's seen his teammate, coming across and got up there and got it. Got up a lot higher than I probably would have.
The junior Thigi checks in for the junior Dillon, and that's the thing that Coach Graves said. He appreciates his senior leadership, but he does have some youth that's coming up. He's got a sophomore on the court and 2 juniors right now. So the cupboard is far from over. Uterspaw tries to stop the turnover that was caused by Wilson. Number 5, that's Ford, getting it to Hollingsworth. Drives in, Sells with a shot. Open 3 is in. That's going to be 18-17, bringing it just a 1-point lead for the Clinton-Massie Falcons with 2:16 left in the second quarter. You can see the excitement by the black here.
Yeah, Sells is hot.
Trick tries to take the ball up. He goes to the ground to try to get the ball. They're going to call it a jump ball with 2:04 left. It's going to be a technical foul on Owen Trick. Unfortunately, they got into it on the ground just a little bit, and as things got a little chippy, Owen might have said something that he shouldn't have. So that's going to cause the Graham Falcons to get 2 shots plus the ball.
You don't know what happened there. I know, like I said, they got into it on the floor. He must have something between that point and the time the ref handed him the ball.
Yeah, he was a little upset that maybe there was some extra pushing and shoving there. He got up and had a comment to say McGuire's going to go to the line. He'll have 2 shots plus the ball go back into the hand of the Graham Falcons. The first one is nothing but net. McGuire again. Another shot made.
That puts Graham up by 1. 2 minutes left.
So McGuire doing a great job with 6 points so far. Sells is still your leading scorer with 11. I believe that's Ford, has put in a couple points as well. So the ball into the hands of the Graham Falcons. Muterspaw and Hollingsworth On the other side of the timeline, this time it goes to Muterspall, but he's going to be called for the foul underneath.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe's, he's going. You said his engine's at 50, fifth gear. Good defense. It looked very clean up here, but got to be smart with it.
Yeah, must have got him with the body on the far
Yeah.
side. It definitely wasn't his hand.
No.
His hand got the ball, but that's fine. It's going to come back here, and a nice shot by Hollingsworth. Again, nothing but net, so they're doing a pretty good job at the foul line tonight, are the Graham Falcons. So a second shot coming from Graham, and they've taken the lead on foul shots at this point. Goes off the front of the rim. The ball's out of bounds. It's going to go to Clinton-Massie. 20-18. The score is a lead by the Graham Falcons. This time Sawyer Conrad to Gabe Muterspall. Conrad's been quiet tonight. No points and just the foul. The 7 points by Jerry Trout's been the lead. Conrad heard me say that.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I thought he heard you say that because there he goes right to the lane.
Goes and scores, so that's 2 points for Conrad's score is tied, 20-20. The man-to-man defense by Clinton-Massie. At the top of the key goes Thiegy. Tries to get the ball out of Sells' hand. Sells drives. Got a jump ball. So again, mixing it up underneath our Sells and Muterspall. Ball's going to stay on this side of the court to the Graham Falcons. Clinton-Massie picking out their man. Gabe Muterspall trying to cut the distance between him and the first offensive player. Underneath, gets the ball to Sells. Blocked by Wilson. It looks like he got him with the body, but they actually let that one go. Muterspall drives the ball up the court. Gets control of it. Settles back down, gets it to Jerry Trout. Jerry Trout tries to drive. He also loses a little bit of the handle. Connor gets the ball. They're going to call an offensive on Sawyer Conrad, so it's going to be another charge call.
Yeah, Graham is, they're setting their feet on the charges. I think Conrad there, great move. I just think he got his shoulder dipped a little bit, but looks like.
So it's going to be a second charge call and a foul on Sawyer Conrad.
Clinton-Massie now up to 10 fouls, it looks like.
Yeah, it was right. It was apparent very early in the game that the refs were not going to allow a lot of hand checking action. And honestly, each crew's a little bit different. You had an experience, I'm sure, like that. Tyler, tell the listeners and those that are viewing, what are some conversations that you have to have with the ref when you recognize right away that they're going to call a lot?
Especially when you see it coming out and you see we call the refs whistle happy. You got to settle your guys down. You got to be smart about things. You got to be able to, if you want to go for a steal, you got to make sure to make it count. But you got to understand that, hey, this most likely could be a foul. But you just kind of got to play smart, be fundamental, be in the right spots at the right time. Because if you're in the right spots at the right time, doing what you're supposed to be doing, those fouls won't be there. It's when when you're behind on the cuts or when you're not jumping to the next pass. Or trying to go for that steal without the ball side hand. Those are where you get those fouls coming in.
Right. Well, this crew has decided that they want to keep things under control right away, so we're actually over the 10 foul mark because they just stopped counting them on the board at 10. So I believe that there's 11 for Clinton-Massie, 6 for Graham, so they're starting to even them out, but that's 17 fouls in one half. Either that's not moving your feet or the whistle is definitely the friend of the ref at this point. So McGuire with a handoff gets the open look there to Ford. Ford misses that three-pointer. Rebound goes to Clinton-Massie.
Yeah, okay, with Wilson there with a good rebound. Like I said, Massey's crashing the boards. Good.
Looks like Graves wants to play for the last shot here, so he spread his team out just a little bit, but it looks like Graham is going to counter that with a little bit tighter defense here at the top of the key and even outside of the key in the three-point area. Muterspall driving the ball, but is able to pull it out pretty quickly. So your Conrad also starts to drive, pulls the ball back out. Trout now pulls the ball out. 17, 16, 15, 14. Conrad gets the ball at the volleyball line. He makes a couple shakes and shimmies. He tries to drive, but the ball is going to be stolen. Or it looks like it was going to be stolen by McGuire, but they're actually going to call him for a foul. Yep, number 4 with a hand grab So that's going to give a foul to McGuire and a one-on-one to Sawyer Conrad.
Yeah, then before got him right there on the arm going for that ball and hit him right there on the forearm, which refs don't call that, especially tonight, looks like every time. So,
Yeah. Fiji turns around with a quick jumper off the rebound. 20-20 is your score. 1.2 seconds left.
Graham's hit one end of quarter shot. Let's hopefully tighten up that D on this one.
1.20, and the ball's going to fall well outside of the backboard there. The ref saves a cheerleader from taking it in the face. We appreciate that. So 10-minute halftime is what we're going to start here in just a second. 20-20 is your score. So as we're going off the air here for just a moment, let's leave these listeners and viewers with just a couple thoughts. What have you seen so far in the first half? And then what are you looking for Graves to tell his team, and maybe talk about what McCourty's talking with his team out at halftime. So first, if you're Steve Graves, what do you see about your 20 points in the first half? And what do you see about your potentially 11 or 12 fouls that you've given it?
Your team's playing physical, but with physicality, you got to be smart. They're playing good defense. They're boxing out. They're crashing the boards. I just think it's those missed opportunities on offense where we got to the lane, we got to the middle of the court, and pump fake, ball shots. I think that's where it is. And then obviously finishing on the charity stripe. Being able to make those free throws. And then kind of keep your eye on number one, Sells. I think he's got 12 points or something in the first half. He's their momentum guy, at least from what I'm seeing tonight.
Yeah, he's clearly the leader on the court, whether it's necessarily in the position that he plays or just his energy. He's gotten rebounds. He's shot threes. He's been good from the foul line, right at about 50%. So, I think for the most part, that's where the offense is going to run through. And Coach said earlier when I talked to him, that is who the offense is going to run through because that's their leading scorer. So they're getting a lot of help from those around him, though. McGuire's doing a great job. If I remember correctly, Coach said McGuire's kind of his gym rat, his high IQ basketball guy. So you can definitely tell on the court he's taking good shots and doing a nice job running that offense for him. So if you're McCourty, though, what are you saying to your Falcons in the halftime when you've got your 20 points, you've put up maybe 6 or 7 fouls, put them in the one-on-one there at the very end of the second quarter. You're somewhat even in your distribution of points with Sells obviously being the leader at 11 points. What are you telling them for getting ready for the second half?
We go back to the keys of the game. They're matching their intensity. They really are, Graham. Falcons are coming out physical. As you see, they're crashing the boards. They're not afraid to get on the court either. I think that McCourty's done a real good job of preparing those guys for that. But then also at the same time is Massey's had a lot of offensive rebounds, a lot of tip backs, a lot of second opportunity. I think he's going to be saying, hey, guys, we got to box out, especially on that zone. When you're playing a 2-3 zone, you got to make sure you get your eyes on the guys when that shot goes up to be able to box them out and limit Massey from them second point opportunities.
Yeah, it seems like the Graham Falcons are getting a lot of defensive rebounds, and the Massie Falcons are getting a lot of offensive rebounds. Yeah. So it's like almost they've switched from what the coaches has said has been an issue earlier in the year. So maybe they were listening during practices this week and knew what to expect coming into this game. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We got about 7.5 minutes left. We're going to try to get you some stats and talk a little bit, and we'll join you here in about 3 or 4 minutes as we get the second half started. All right, a special treat for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk a little junior high basketball. Appreciate all those of you that are checking in from Clinton-Massie land. With us is the 7th grade head coach, Cordell Cordray. Tell him hi, Cordell.
How we doing, folks?
All right, glad to have you up here. So let's talk a little bit about Clinton-Massie junior high basketball. 8th grade coached by Clayton Morgan, having a successful season so far. Tell them a little bit about the 7th grade team.
So the 7th grade team, we're still building that foundation of transitioning from that youth basketball to more of that serious, getting into the roles of what they need to do and getting the job done out on the basketball court.
What have you seen so far that you like about this team?
So far, this team, they come together, they work together as a team. They faced adversity in our first couple of games, kind of stumbled through the first half on a couple of the games.
Gotcha.
And second half, we come out and intensity's increased and we're ready to rock and roll come that third quarter.
So how do you put the first half or the second half into the first half on a regular basis?
I actually talked to the players today about how to get that intensity transition through all 4 quarters of the first half to the second half, and a couple of the players actually said I had to get onto them a little bit, maybe make fun of them a little bit, which gave me a chuckle. So.
Okay, so raising your voice would be a positive thing in their mind. So Dylan with a quick 2-pointer as he gets second half action started. So real quick, what are you looking forward to in this team for the rest of the year?
I'm really looking forward to the kids just building their skill level and then gaining that knowledge in basketball just to keep working and progressing to be better ball players by the end of the season.
Sells with a missed shot and coming back with the ball is Clinton-Massie. So, Coach Cordray, we appreciate you taking just a couple minutes out of your time. Trout for 3 with a miss. We appreciate you stopping by, and we appreciate your time spending with the kids and wishing nothing but luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. So Clinton-Massie putting up 2 quick shots. The first one made, the second one missed by Trout. And I know we got some stats for you. So what did you see? What did you notice out of those stats there in the first half, Tyler?
I look at fouls. That big quarter, big half. That's what we kind of talked about was the amount of fouling that had happened, and the physicality.
Dylan with a nice kind of wild shot, but it goes in, so it's going to be an and one putting him on the line.
Owen Trick. We talk about him being a momentum changer. He's got 3 fouls. So he's got to be smart when he comes back in. That's the big headline on the foul side. But on Graham's side, you got Sells. You got him with 11 points. Curious to see what Coach Graves does this half with him. If he sticks his best defender on him, or if they stay in that zone halftime man a little bit. So stats kind of even across the board. Rebounding, points. Other than Sells having 11, he's the face of Graham. With Massey, you got Ryan Dillon's come out hot in the second quarter. Third quarter. He scored the last 4 buckets. And he's a little bit of a must have lit a fire underneath him at halftime.
I will say it seems right now already, I can tell you the intensity looks to be ratcheted up a little bit by the Clinton-Massie Falcons. And like Coach Cordray said, that 7th grade team, after going, I think 13 or 13 for 13 on the score against Astros, outscored them in the second half 33-2. So sometimes the second half intensity is where you got to talk to them at halftime, kind of gave them a little bit of a ribbing, said it's time to get to work, and they definitely did. So Gabe Muterspaw with solid defense on Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth gets the ball over to Sells. Sells being guarded by Wilson. Kale Wilson, the sophomore, back on the court for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. McGuire finding some space, doing a nice job. Very fundamentally sound is McGuire. You can tell he found space by putting his foot in between the defender's legs, and that's exactly what we teach our young kids to do. So nice job by him. He's that gym rat that I think the coach was talking about earlier today. So the drive by the Falcons looks like they're going to call a double dribble, and the ball is going to go as a turnover to the Clinton-Massie Falcons. So I really like what I see out of McGuire. Sells is going to be your motor, clearly your main threat. So let's see what they can do in the second half to keep Graham and the Clinton-Massie Falcons close here.
Yeah, for sure. Coach Graves put Wilson on Sells for defense, so I'm kind of curious to see how that matchup's going to go.
Yeah, the experience of Sells versus just the youth of Wilson. A quick shot by Trout. In and out goes that three-pointer. Looks like there's going to be no shot. The ball's on the floor. Foul's going to go against number 4. That is McGuire. I believe that's his second, or just his first. No, that is his second. So McGuire's going to pick up that foul. Ryman in the game as well. Looks like Ward, Sells, and Hollingsworth for the Graham Falcons. A quick shot by Dillon. Nothing but the bottom of the net for number 3.
Yeah, Dillon, he's hot. He came out. He's ready to roll. I think he got that rust off of him maybe in the first half, and he's come out. Coach Graves got underneath him.
7 quick ones by him in the third quarter, 4 with the dribble. Looks like it's going to be a foul against Muterspaw. Muterspaw got quick hands, but he's got a lot of times where 2 hands are on the offensive player, and that's where he's getting those foul calls. Thege's going to check in for Muterspaw, which picks up his 3rd foul early in the third quarter. 5:47, 28-20. So you had 8 quick points scored by the Clinton-Massie Falcons, as it was a 20-20 game at halftime. Hollingsworth with the ball from Ford. I get Ford and Ward confused a little bit. I apologize, Falcon faithful. And there's a nice stroke by McGuire. Again, a fundamentally sound player that's putting a nice teardrop bucket over the side of the rim. Dillon this time drives. He gets the ball to Thege. Thege kicks it out to Trout. Trout shoots. Short feet means it's short off the front of the rim, but Thege tracks that ball down, gets it out to Dillon. Dillon shoots. It's off the front of the rim as well. Thege gets another rebound, and Coach Graves is excited for him. A lot of energy for Coach Graves on Miles Thege, so that's going to be a foul against the Graham Falcons. It's going to put another one on the board for them, and that's against number 11. That's Ryman.
Yeah, Thege is all over the court. And you see that he's got that Afro-style kind of hair. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, Thege, the Theges of Clinton-Massie definitely don't lack for hair, that's for sure. Sawyer Conrad with a nice move inside against some contact there. He's able to put that in, 30-22, so a 10-2 run here for the Clinton-Massie Falcons. Sells trying to find the open man, sees a cutting Ford. McGuire with a triple threat. Comes and gets the ball back out to Sells. Sells with a quick shot from the corner of the lane, and Thege with another rebound back out to Dillon.
Yeah, I think Graham is kind of in shell shock. You know, Massey's come out strong and quick. I mean, they've been getting up and down the court faster and faster as possessions went on.
Looks like a little pick and roll set doesn't come to fruition for the Falcons. Massie resets. Wilson tries to look inside, doesn't like what he sees. Pulls a back ball out to Trout, but McGuire with the steal. He's going to go coast to coast by himself. Lays it in. Nice job, McGuire.
Yeah, Wilson there. Just kind of laid it out there. And
he kind of looking inside. He's trying to look inside and get the ball outside at the same time. So just look at your target. Got to have a target. I've been taught that for many, many years. Got to have a target. So get that target out there, get the ball into the other guy's hands while you're looking at him. So ball goes out of bounds again. Quick hands by McGuire. Trout looking for the open man underneath.
Looks like we got number 3 Ward coming in for Ford there, just giving him a little bit of a break.
I'm gonna give you a little. Those of you that aren't catching this on the big screen, McGuire and Trout are in each other's ear pretty good.
Oh.
So we'll see what happens out of that later on and see who gets hot to kind of shut the other one up. But it's been a nice little jawing match so far between McGuire and Trout. Looks like it's going to go to the baseline as a foul because that's against number 4, McGuire, with the block on Trout. He drove to the right, tried to go down the lane, floated one up and missed, but they're going to take the ball out of bounds, and that's going to be Dillon underneath the basket. Conrad to Trout, Trout to Thege. Thege, Wilson should have probably looked for that ball but missed it. He's going to go to the other side. Checking out is Wilson for Connor Stoles. Connor Stoles, number 10, the senior, comes back in, the defensive master.
Yeah, I just think Wilson got happy there. He seen that opening and just didn't yell it out.
Sells slowly brings the ball up court, looking to get across the timeline. Ryman with it in his hands, fights off Sawyer Conrad, does a nice job to clear the ball to Sells. Sells trying to look for a backdoor cut, which is Hollingsworth. Ball in the hands of Josh Still, number 10, checking into the game for McGuire as he sits with his, I believe, 3 fouls at this point. Sells underneath. The block from the top, but the hand on the body.
On the back. He got up on top of his shoulders when he hit that pump fake.
Yep.
You know, here's a funny little quick fact. I knew Ryan Dillon since he was about 4 years old.
Okay.
He does not. I don't know if he'd recognize me. He went to our church down in Morrow.
Right.
And I was shocked to see him on the roster. You know, after so many years, I was like, I know that name from somewhere.
Gotcha.
So just a funny little fact there for that.
It is a small world out here in the country. Sawyer Conrad with the rebound. Jerry Trout gets the ball in and out of his legs, trying to find an opening, gets the ball to Dillon. Dillon with a quick step back to Trout. Trout looking to try to find an opening. He drives, he finds one, drops one, but misses. This time they're going to call Fiji with a body foul underneath.
Yeah, a little bit over the back there. Fiji tried to out-jump him, which I think he had, but those arms came down over top.
Again, if you want to check in, let us know where you're listening, watching from. 937-303-8069. 937-303-8069 is going to be the number you can check in. Let us know where you're watching from. About 50 strong right now. We appreciate that. Those of you that are checking in, you can still tell a friend. We've got 2:38 left in the third quarter. Still fourth quarter action to come here at Clinton-Massie Local Schools, Brian P. Mudd Court. The Falcons versus the Falcons. Connor Stoltz with the defense that causes the errant shot. Sells. He's going to get a foul called against, I believe, Fiji.
Yeah, Sells got him with the shot fake, and Fiji just couldn't get back in front of him, and unfortunately, that force just pushed him right out of bounds.
After coming out hot with 10 points, the Falcons went a little cold. Now the score is 30-25. Graham clawing and scratching their way, using their talons, if you will, to get back into this game.
You know, Massey, they're playing good defense right now.
Nice job, Connor Stoltz. He's going to be called for the travel, but I like the effort trying to get that ball away from the Graham Falcon player. That was number 10 still.
Yeah, not sure if he had possession there quite yet, but
right.
Ref must have better eyes than I do.
Again, 937-303-8069 if you want to check in. Wilson getting ready to check back into this game. Sells has Fiji outside of the three-point line, drives it, kicks into Hollenworth. Back to Sells with an open three off the side of the rim. It's going to go out of bounds and go to Clinton-Massie. So nice shot, but just a little bit short. Wilson checks back in for Fiji.
Give Miles a break there. Try to keep him out of that foul trouble. I think he got 2 quick ones there.
You said little things. You said fundamentals. I know this is a tiny, tiny thing. I love the fact that Clinton-Massie gets off the bench, daps up everybody coming off the court, says, good job, nice effort. I think that's important when it comes to team chemistry, so I can appreciate that's a culture thing by Coach Graves. Going out of bounds off the hands of the Graham Falcons, back to Clinton-Massie.
Yeah, I mean, that was a culture thing in Wilmington. Every time somebody came off the bench, we got up. If you were on the bench, you know, patted them on the back, said good job, no matter what.
Looking for an opening. They find it with Trick. He goes up strong. Looks like a little bit of contact, but they're going to let that one go. Sells to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth kicks it up the floor to number 5. I believe that's Ford, in and out of the rim. Dillon gets the long rebound. He's looking for an opening. Gets it to Trick. Trick with a block foul against Sells this time.
Yeah, Sells didn't get his feet set too much there. And Trick, man, using his physicality, taking it to the hoop.
Looks like he tried to go underneath him right at the last second, moved his feet. That gave Trick the call against Sells, which was a block call, so it's going to be underneath the Clinton-Massie. Looks like checking into the game is going to be Duel. But they're going to put him back on the line because the dead ball had already finished. Dillon tries to get the ball inside. He does to Connor Stoltz. Connor Stoltz with good defense on him by number 10. That's still. Trick turns, and a nice lay-in.
Very nice move down there by Owen Trick. Got him down on the lower block, used his size, laid it off the glass.
Coach McCourty said, hey, you know, when 23 comes in the game, it becomes a lot more physical, and he used it on the offensive side of the court that time and just pushed his way in with a nice spin move. He finished, but they're going to call They're going to call block foul out wide. 23 against Trick.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be his 4th foul.
And he keeps on asking the ref, what am I doing? Because it seems like I'm getting, called no matter what.
I don't know if that ref's the one that called the technical, but after you get a technical, sometimes you got to be a little bit more hesitant to do some things, not because somebody has it out for you, but
they're just watching.
Yeah, once you get that, they don't take their eyes off of you.
Hollingsworth of the drive. He's going to kick it out to Sells. Sells, who's played every second of this ball game, comes up a little short. Stoles trying to make a quick transition to Wilson. Wilson stops, drops. He comes in and out of the rim. Sells gets the rebound. Rebound to Sells to Ford, back to Sells. Sells and Hollingsworth, I don't know that they've come out of the game at this point.
No, I think the only break they've had is the couple timeouts in halftime, which I think Coach for Graham knows that those are his guys to keep going.
Has to be. Nice hands by Connor Stoles, but he loses it back to Ward quickly. Sells thought about it for a second, but I think his legs were a little weak on that one. He's played a lot of minutes.
At this point in time in the game, you get your knees start to get a little lighter feeling.
5, 4, 3, 1. Oh, it hits the back of the rim. Actually, almost goes in. So Clinton-Massie, after scoring 10 quick points within the first 3 minutes of the quarter, go cold in the second half of the quarter, ending with 32-25. Graham came out a little bit sluggish, was able to claw their way back to that 25 mark, so it's going to be a 7-point lead for Clinton-Massie as they start the fourth quarter. Those of you that are checking in, we appreciate it. 937-303-8069. Watching from Kodak, Tennessee, a Graham Falcon fan. We appreciate you checking in. And those that want to check in, we can send shout-outs 937-303-8069, 937-303-8069. And we have a question of the game. It's going to be the fourth quarter. Yeah, it's going to be the fourth quarter here. Sometimes, I know, Tyler, it's hard to find time for, just to take and relax. So I need you to find me that Netflix, that Paramount Plus, that Disney Plus, that HBO Max movie that nobody really knows about. When I've got a couple hours to kill, I've got the chips and salsa bowl ready to go. I've got the big old tub of water ready to drown that out. So I need that movie that's off the radar, the one that's a little bit different, the one that you're looking at and going, the preview doesn't even look good, but once you sit down and watch it, it's unbelievable. So all the fans that are listening, if you want to chime in, help Tyler and I out when we actually have 2 hours to kill, which is very rare.
Yeah.
937-303-8069. Again, 937-303-8069. The fourth quarter question of the game. Help us figure out what that movie we're going to watch, hopefully Saturday morning before a little college football possibly, where we got a couple hours, a nice hot cup of coffee. Find that one on Netflix. McGuire with the 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Nice shot as he comes back and checks in for the fourth quarter start. Find that movie for us, 937-303-8069. We appreciate that. We will share your thoughts and your suggestions here throughout the rest of this broadcast. V-cut by Dillon. Dillon gets to the top of the key. Wilson tries to look for the cutting Muter's ball. He finds it. In and out goes the ball of the rim. Wilson with the rebound. Foul's going to be a 2-shot foul, sending Wilson to the line. Let's see who this is on. It looks like that's going to be on number 12. So that's going to be, I believe that's Ryman for the, yep, that's Ryman. So that's going to be his, they don't have him up there just yet. So we'll get you a number here in just a second. Yeah, they still have dual in the game there, so we'll see that switch. So Wilson with the first shot made gives the Massey Falcons 33. The 28 is for the Graham Falcons, the Battle of the Falcons. You've tuned in here at 7:19 left in the fourth quarter. You've seen a good one if you stuck with us the whole time. Connor Stoles starts the rebounding, and it finishes with Ryan Dillon. Wilson back to Dillon. Dillon trying to get it inside to Sawyer Conrad against Sells. Sells back to Dillon, the quick three-point trigger off the front of the rim. McGuire with the rebound. McGuire to Hollingsworth, guarded by Dillon with the full court pressure. Dillon, who's coming off a little bit of an ankle injury, had an ankle issue just a couple games ago. Looks like he's in full health or near.
Yeah, he's got that ankle bracelet on there. Got it probably wrapped up pretty tight.
McGuire can't leave him open with a nice drive. Dishes off to Ryman. Ryman turns, shoots. An errant shot, trying to go out of bounds and save it as Gabe Muterspaw. He's actually going to turn the ball over out of bounds to the Graham Falcons. 33-28 with 6:40 left. Time is ticking away pretty fast. It's a rather low-scoring affair. You're in the fourth quarter with 33 points, and so far, that's something that you can see because Graham is only giving up 48 points a game, and they're scoring about 44, so very balanced, where Clinton-Massie is giving up 57 a game, and scoring 49. Sells with a put in from the out-of-bounds play is going to make it 33-30. So very even or close to even scoring on both teams, and you can see 33-30 means exactly what you think would be a low-scoring game with two defensive-heavy teams. And Wilson with the up and under and is able to score, stretching his body. 35-30 is your score now with almost 6:20 left in this fourth quarter.
I think Wilson's feeding off the energy. I think he's getting that momentum built up and right about the right time.
Answered by McGuire, though. McGuire coming in on this fourth quarter, scoring a three-pointer and a quick bucket there. He stops Conrad from driving. Stoles goes in with body contact, misses. Ball goes back out to McGuire with a quick shot, but he's going to turn the ball over to Conrad. Sawyer Conrad intercepts that pass, gets it over to Dillon. Dillon pushes back Conrad, gets it over here to Wilson. The pick, tries to roll, nothing doing. Dillon switches, drops one on with a left hand and gets it in. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice play by Ryan Dillon with the left hand on the left side of the lane. He has come out in the second half doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 13 points. I think 8 of those have been in the second half. He's being more aggressive, being quicker to the lane. Taking advantage of those Graham defensive players being behind him and just attacking the hoop.
Trick checks back in. Stoll steps out. Dillon, in and out goes that foul shot. McGuire is going to get the ball from Ryman. McGuire brings the ball across the timeline in a wide open. That's a charge call, so setting his feet is Owen Trick, and I'll be honest with you, that's maybe the one guy you don't want to run into if you're Gus Ward, but Gus Ward hits him, knocks him down, but gets the charge call as the refs wipe up the sweat. That's going to be something that gets every coach fired up. If there's one thing that's going to get a bench up and fired up, excited, that is taking a charge.
Oh, yeah, taking a charge, to me was one of the funnest things, being able to, but don't know if I would have been taking being able to run into Owen Trick like that.
Yeah, but a solid, I'll be nice and say a solid 255.
Oh, yeah. Brick wall.
Yeah. Wilson to Trick, thinking about it, but gives the ball up. We're going to call something underneath here. Number 4, that's McGuire. That's his 4th, and that's going to be a tough one to eat if you're Graham because right now he's become your leading scorer with 15 points, 14 for Sells. Checking back into the game is number 3, that's Ward. I just cannot seem to get Ford and Ward right. So looks like that's Ward checking back into the game quickly for the Graham Falcons.
Yeah, losing McGuire to that foul, like you said, he's been the hot one the second half, but coach is going to have to lean on some other players, at least till a couple minutes left in the quarter.
Yeah, save him till about 4 or under. Fiji checks into the game for Wilson, who's had a nice second half himself, come back alive a little bit. Sawyer Conrad at the foul line, gets the first one, misses the second one. Ryman with the rebound. Ryman's done a nice job for the Graham Falcons, getting some rebounds and being a part of that offense. A turnover by Graham deep into their end of the court there.
Yeah, Muterspaw jumped that cut, and Graham player honestly just threw it right to him.
Sawyer Conrad slips the pick and roll. Muterspaw dumps it into him underneath. Conrad turns quickly and scores. 40-32 is going to be your score, and that's going to be a timeout by the Graham Falcon coach, McCourty. So if you're Coach Graves, you like what you see in the fourth quarter, and you're almost 3 minutes in.
Yeah, Muterspaw dumping it off there. Didn't know if I was going to get through there. Kind of a tight window, but he, as a football term, threaded the needle on that pass there. And Conrad spun it up, put it right in.
Yeah, I would liken the charge call to, so I got to coach, I had the pleasure of coaching with Ken Miner, one of the greatest high school coaches in Southwest Ohio history. I had a lot of success while I was there as well. And I asked Coach Miner, after being a coach for 50 years, what's the most exciting play in football? And he said emphatically a blocked punt. A blocked punt changes the entire trajectory of the game. I would equal that to taking a charge.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was thinking that same thing. What does that equal out to football? I was thinking interception, but block punt. They say special teams wins the games and some of those times just like defense. But Owen Trick, I think he learned from seeing it a couple times with the Graham players taking charges on him. He's like, you know what? Why don't I take one?
Right.
Just because I'm the biggest guy on the court doesn't mean that I can't take one. He showed it right there.
I think Coach McCourty had it right to say when Owen Trick comes off the bench, the game becomes more physical. It's a compliment to Owen Trick. It's not a derogatory statement in any way. He knows that he likes to, throw his weight around in a good way. Owen Trick, just to let our viewers know, has agreed to play football on scholarship for the Dayton Flyers.
Oh, wow.
So
awesome.
he's going to Dayton to play football. I talked to him a little bit. Looks like they'll probably possibly move him into that guard position. So good luck to him. Sells gets fouled by Trick, and that's going to be his, I thought it was his fifth. Maybe that's only going to be his fourth. So quick hands by Trick, but he does get him on the arm as Sells goes up. That's going to be a 2-shot foul. That is his fourth now. 6 points put in by Trick, 4 fouls. Leading scorer right now is Dylan for Clinton-Massie with 13 points. He's got 2 fouls. Miles Thege's got 2 as well, and Gabe Muterspaw has 3. Checking into the game is Jerry Trout, the 3-point specialist. A little bit cold tonight from outside of the arc, but maybe gets hot in these last 4 minutes. Sells from the foul line. Good.
Yeah, I wanted to congratulate Owen Trick there on that football scholarship. That's a huge thing for any high school student to be able to achieve that and being able to continue on his football career.
Yeah, I'll throw in my 2 cents. And just on top of that, what a nice young man. He's always congenial, friendly guy, hard worker, just the kind of guy you want to represent Clinton-Massie. So they're going to call that against number 1. That's Miles Thege for what I'll assume is a moving pick because it was away from the ball. So that's going to turn the ball over to the to the Graham Falcons. 40-34 is your score. If you still want to check in and help Tyler and I figure out what are we watching Saturday morning, late Saturday night when the wives have fallen asleep, what's on Netflix, what's on that Paramount Plus, what's on the HBO Max, that odd movie, that unique movie, up and in, tries to go Ward. Missed that one. It goes over the rim to Muterspaw with the rebound. But if you'd like to, 937-303-8069. It's going to be a timeout by Clinton-Massie as they reset their offense here with a lead of 6 points, 40-34, 3:54 left in the fourth quarter. Again, leading scorer for Clinton-Massie, that's Ryan Dillon. Number 3 leading scorer right now would be Sells for the Falcons.
Yeah, Sells has come on there. Dylan, like I said, I've been really impressed with the way he's played this second half. He's included his teammates. He's motivated them. Really looking forward to, Trick getting back in there and Wilson as well. Those guys are the motivators for Massey. Wilson has stepped it up on the defensive side this quarter with Sells, but then also on the offensive side with the offensive rebounds he's been able to put up.
Let me ask you a question. You've got some experience with this. So when you played football at Wilmington, if I remember correctly, they were pretty good, correct? In junior year, you even went to the playoffs, right? Okay. NASCA comes in to what may be considered at the time a football-heavy school.
Correct.
And establishes a basketball program, one of dominance in, we'll say in this area for certain, and even in Southwest Ohio. How do you do that as a coach in a football-heavy school like a Clinton-Massie or at the time like a Wilmington?
The key is just, Noska came there with his own way of thinking, his own way of program, and he had faith in it. He went off of it. He didn't go away from it, and success. He bred success. He let his actions speak for himself. He let his, the first year he's there, first winning record we had in a couple of years, went to the, playoffs. Then he continued to build off there. Yeah, he had great players that came up through the pipeline at Wilmington, but those great players only get you so far when it comes to good coaching.
Yeah, Sells with a quick 2-pointer, 40-36 is your score with 3:22 left in the fourth quarter. I would agree. And Coach McCourty from Graham shared with me earlier that he wants the football team to do well because success breeds success, and just what you said. The foul goes against the Graham Falcons. Muterspaw drives the middle of the lane. As he goes up for the shot, he's met with a couple arms across his body. So that's going to be 40-36 as your score, 3:09 left in the fourth quarter, and Gabe Muterspaw, the person at the foul line.
Yep, Gabe, like you said, fifth gear. As you say in football, fourth quarter, hold nothing back. That's what Muterspaw's doing right now. He's got a little left in the tank.
A little long on that first one, but actually gets the shooters rolling. It goes in.
Don't see too many of those on free throws, but you probably, this is the time where you got to use them legs on them free throws. The legs are probably worn out a little bit. This is where fundamental on that free throw shot comes in handy.
Cale Wilson checks back into the game for the Massie Falcons. All the way back on the other side is Dillon. Another shot made by Muterspaw. Two very important foul shots there by Gabe Muterspaw. Number 2, Hollingsworth brings the ball up slowly. 3:04 is left on your clock so far with a 42-36 lead by the Massie Falcons. Sells with the ball against Wilson, who's done a pretty nice job in the second half against Sells. Long shot in and out by McGuire. The ball goes to Dillon out of the hands of Sawyer Conrad with the rebound. He gets the ball back from Dillon. Looking for the open man is Wilson, but he checks out of that, gets Thiegy on the back cut. Conrad gets the ball, tries to find an opening.
Yeah, somebody's got to flash that high post.
Yeah, not a lot of presence here at the high post, as you said, or at the foul line. Now we're running a little pick, trying to find an opening. Going to get a 5-second call by Sells if he's not careful here. Jump ball.
Yeah, I think Coach Graves is saying, spread out. I think one point in time we had 4 of them over there on the far side of the court. I think he's saying spread out, keep it out.
Jerry Trout checks back into the game. Connor Stoles also checks back into the game for Thiegy. Underneath is Dillon with the ball. They're going to call the play. Looks like Sawyer Conrad. One pick, a second pick, out to Muterspaw to clear the ball. And time is your friend if you're the Clinton-Massie Falcons. You want to eat up as much time as possible. You don't want to go stall just yet. Out of the hands goes the ball as Jerry Trout. Timeout by Graves. He doesn't want to give away a possession here. So nice job by Coach Graves with a quick timeout there. It's going to be looks like a 30-second timeout. They'll wind the watch here with 2:11 left in the fourth quarter. So appreciate you joining us tonight. So we appreciate those that have been able to check in with us. Those that are watching from St. Paris, those are watching from Tennessee. We get a lot of people checking in, especially during the football broadcast from across the country, to be honest with you, and sometimes across the world. So if you want to send a shout out or let us know where you're listening or watching from, 937-303-8069. We appreciate Coach McCourty joining me today, taking some time out of his schedule. They had a fog delay this morning, so it changed our plans, and he was able to meet on the fly there. I appreciate the flexibility, and he's brought a nice team down here that's only down by 6 points with 2 minutes left. Clinton-Massie with the ball in their possession at half court. It looks like Ryan Dillon to get the ball in from Gabe Muterspaw. Hollingsworth with the defense at the timeline on Dillon, who's handled the ball most of the night as the point guard. Now he's going to get trapped. Muterspaw tries to knock the ball off of a Graham defender, but it goes between their legs and into the hands of a Graham offensive player. So Hollingsworth is going to bring the ball across the timeline and get fouled by Sawyer Conrad. And because it's so deep in this second half, it's going to be looks like it's going to be 2 shots. Let's see here.
Looks like the double bonus.
Double bonus? No, they're just going to call it a one-on-one. So it looks like, yep, it's one-on-one still. The miss and the rebound by Clinton-Massie, so no harm done just yet. Dillon gets the ball from Jerry Trout. Trout looking to the sideline to get the play from Coach Graves. It looks like they are going with a trapping defense, and they get the ball a second time, does McGuire.
Yeah, Graham switching to that trap on the ball carrier. And when that comes, ball carrier's got to know 2 people are on here, 1 open. Look for it. The Massie guys got to go to the ball. They got to make those passes shorter for whoever's got that ball.
And you wonder because, Sells has played every second. Hollingsworth's played every second unless we miss them.
Right.
McGuire's went out a couple times due to some foul issues. But, how much is left in the tank if they're going to run this trapping defense? It's only 2 minutes, actually a minute and a half now, and the turnover by Sells goes in the hands of Dillon, which is a big turnover because that's a minute 16 left on the clock. Sawyer Conrad stops his feet. They try to trap him. He gets the ball out. This time it goes to Thiegy to Muterspaw. Now they're just going to play keep away as Hollingsworth Hollingsworth puts the defense on Dillon. Ball goes out of bounds to Graves.
Coach didn't look too happy about catching that one.
And by the way, Graves is our coach, so he's not allowed to get the ball.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a turnover against the Clinton-Massie Falcons. Over to the Graham Falcons goes the ball with 57 seconds left. Just a 6-point lead. A couple three-pointers could change this game very quickly, and McGuire wants to be one of those guys. The kick, Sells, looks like he was going to shoot, stops, pulls the ball down. Now he's going to shoot a three-pointer off the side of the rim to Sawyer Conrad. Conrad to Dillon. Dillon back to Conrad. Conrad tries to bring it, but he's running right into a trap. And he's going to give the ball right up to McGuire to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth misses the runaway layup there, and that's going to be a quick foul on McGuire, who had 4. That'll be his 5th. So unfortunately, he'll have to exit the game, and he had to foul at that point with 27 seconds left as time is starting to whisk away for the Graham Falcons. It's 42-36, 27 seconds left. It's going to be double bonus for Clinton-Massie as the Graham Falcons have committed at least 10 fouls. Checking out of the game is number 4, McGuire. Checking into the game would be Still. I'm sorry, that's actually Ford. I apologize, Ford.
Yeah, if Dillon puts up, I was going to say both these free throws, it would be pretty much, but got to settle down here and at least make this one, put them up by 3 possessions.
Yeah, 1 is big. That's big right there. 7 points means you got to have at least 3 possessions to turn this game to the favor of the Graham Falcons, 43-36. Thank you for joining us tonight for tonight's broadcast. That's a quick bucket and a timeout by McCourty. He knew what he was looking for there. He needs a 3, a 2, and a 2, or a 3, a 3, and a 2. So he got his 2 quickly there. Now he's got to get a couple three-point shots, a couple turnovers, calls a couple fouls, and hope that Massie misses from the charity stripe.
Yeah, I think Massie just kind of got lost in the movement, kind of took their time getting back, unfortunately, and Graham got that ball up there quick. Like you said, Coach wanted that 2 points quick, so he could salvage as much time as possible to be able to try to come back here with 18 seconds left.
Appreciate the fans of the Graham Falcons checking in. I want to send a shout out to Matt Chrysler, huge Graham Falcons supporter. We appreciate that information being shared with us. We have a lot of supporters here in the Clinton-Massie Falcon land as well. We appreciate those coming out on a Tuesday night. A decent crowd for a Tuesday night. And I'll tell you, Graham had to travel over an hour to get here by bus, so it's probably a little less by car. Myself and the Director of Innovation Learning are actually headed out towards the Graham area, Miami East area here very soon to check out a couple things going on in some high schools up there that we're looking forward to seeing. So I appreciate those of you that have checked in during the game, those of you that have been able to stay with us. We're down to our last 18 and a half seconds with a 5-point lead by the Clinton-Massie Falcons. Graham needs a 2 and a 3 or a couple threes to win this game. Trying to get the ball into the offense is Connor Stolz. Connor Stolz is fouled after he gets the ball back from Gabe Muterspaw, so he's going to go to the line with 15 seconds left, able to keep this game, if he can, a little bit too far out of reach.
Yeah, I think this is, what coaches say at the end of practice, free throws. Free throws are key. Don't take them for granted. Always practice them many times, and I think Stoltz here hopefully sinks both of these.
My coach said that every year free throws will win you at least a game and lose you at least a game, and it could be many more other than that. So this one could be won with some free throws here by Connor Stolz. This one definitely goes through, so it's 44-38. The second one goes in. Going to check into the game is Wilson.
Yep.
So 2 big ones by Connor Stolz there puts this game in a tough spot for the Graham Falcons, 45-38. They're going to need to score quick. They're back out to that 7-point deficit.
Yeah, if you're Massie, I think you just kind of got to keep the ball in front of you. Don't let up any unnecessary three-pointers.
So thrown up is Hollingsworth, a 3-point attempt, and I think that's probably, if he were to guess, not where he wanted to be. He wants to get the ball to McGuire, who had to go out because of foul trouble. Was out with his 5th foul just moments ago. 45-38 with only 8 seconds left, 7.9. Trout comes into the game. He's going to take the ball out of bounds. Little press break here.
I think Coach Gray's keeping in a little bit more ball handlers. to be able to get this ball up the court.
Sawyer Conrad to Trout. They're going to call that last quick foul against Trout just to give him one more chance to go to the line. As the Clinton-Massie faithful clap up their team. Appreciate the effort by Coach Graves. It's going to take them to 2-2. Graham, unfortunately, is going to fall to 0-3.
Yep.
So what does that put you, if you're the Graham coach, what's your conversation with the guys going out on the way home?
You know, if it was me, I'd be talking to my team about just, playing that complete game, finishing it out. I mean, for example, we've seen Graham come out hot. They were hot in the first half, and it's like the second half, they just kind of went away from what they were doing really well in the first half, which was, getting quick shots up and up. And I think Coach for Graham is going to just say, hey, guys, we need to complete the game. We're all right there, and we'll get our wins,
So they're going to count that last three-pointer. Actually, they're going to call it a two-pointer. His foot was on the line. So it's going to be a final of 46-40. So the Clinton-Massie Falcons evens their record at 2-2. The Graham Falcons, unfortunately, go to 0-3. And Coach McCourty will have some conversations with his coaching staff. As he said, he had to on the way down here, making some decisions about his players, his personnel groupings. And I'll be honest with you, they're not super deep on the bench. They really only saw about two other guys come off the bench and play. Duel got in some foul trouble early, so he didn't get a lot of time tonight. So Graham's going to have to really lay on the back of Sells and about Hollingsworth for the minutes, and then count on McGuire and Sells to be their scorers throughout the year. So we wish them luck and nothing but safety the rest of the time. Also make sure that they're safe on the drive back home. All of you that have joined us tonight, we appreciate. We also hope all of the fans of the Graham Falcons are safe on the way back home, and our Clinton-Massie Falcons get home safe. Tyler, appreciate you taking the time tonight. Spend a little time up here with us in the broadcast booth. What'd you think of your first experience on the Clinton-Massie broadcast?
Good. I was excited to be here, excited to see the team play, especially this game with the connection with Coach Graves and Graham, being able to see him get that win, as he would like to get all the wins, but especially this one. So it was a great time. Hopefully we'll be back.
Yeah, he's able to show his face up in Graham Falcon country here the next time he goes up north. So appreciate everybody joining us. The Clinton-Massie fans, we'll see you at the next broadcast. Have a great rest of the week. Stay safe.